Hello, hello, hello. Happy New Year. Welcome to the first episode of the Tom Talks podcast in the year of 2025. It's insane, dog. I didn't think, I don't know. It still feels weird to call it 2025 instead of 2024. But hey, it is what it is. So I hope you all had a safe New Year. I hope you all didn't do anything too stupid. I just stayed in. I fucking streamed. I'm talking about my channel now, but I streamed Arkham Origins, and I got like solid 5 hours in that game. So I'm gonna do it again today. So if you see this and you want to stop by, check it out. It's Tom John, I believe. Actually, it's so fun. I don't even know my own Twitch name. Actually, let's look it up real quick. Such a dumbass. I don't even know my own fucking Twitch name. Is it just Tom John? All right, Tom John 215. That's what it's called. Tom John 215. All right. Goddamn, it's embarrassing. Anyway, so we're just gonna quickly recap week 17. A pretty boring, let's say mostly boring week 17, and then we're gonna go over week 18 because there's not a lot of things left to predict in the playoffs. So and then we'll just go over the playoff picture real quick because it's almost full. Only a couple things that we need left. There are only a couple things left that we need to know for the NFL playoffs to start. So first, Christmas Day games they were both fucking garbage, and yet they still both outperformed the NBA games, which is hilarious to me. That people would rather watch two terrible football games over, I guess not starting to get to the middle of the NBA season. I don't know. I just find that so funny. That just proves that NFL is king and always will be king. It's not going to change for a long, long time. So anyway, yeah, Chiefs beat the Steelers 29-10. Not really that shocking. So now they're just gonna rest all their starters for week 18. Mahomes will have his sprain will be fully healed by the time playoffs start. He'll have like 2 or 3 weeks off, which is crazy. Um, yeah, Steelers struggled that game. The Russell Wilson missed some passes. So Steelers are going in the wrong direction. They're going down, while the Chiefs are still going up. They're still maintaining, and there's just no way that they're not going to. There's just no way that they're not going to lose the Super Bowl at this point. Like, we all know it's coming. We don't want it to happen. We all know it's going to happen. Just like Thanos, it's just inevitable. And hopefully, a team in the AFC, hopefully like the Ravens or the Bills, can stop them in the AFC. If not, hoping my Eagles or hell, even the Lions or Vikings can stop them in the NFC. But we'll see. We'll get to the playoff picture in a moment. But yeah, anyway, Chiefs won. They got the number one seed. They'll be resting their starters next week. Ravens crushed the Texans 31-2. Lamar Jackson, like, this performance definitely gives him an edge in the MVP voting. I don't know if this is a clinching performance for him for the MVP. But in my personal opinion, I still think Josh Allen should win the MVP. But I wouldn't be shocked if Lamar won it. And I wouldn't be that disappointed because put up some crazy fucking numbers. And yeah, Texans are same thing with the Texans. They're looking real shitty going into the playoffs. While the Ravens are getting hot at the right time, so the Ravens' momentum may lead them to actually making a deep playoff run. Meanwhile, there's a third shitty game in the row. There's like four shitty games in a row. This game's absolute dog shit. Seahawks winning 6-3. The Bears are a fucking tire fire right now, and who knows who wants to go there? Like, who really does? Will Ben Johnson really want to take the Bears job and take that over? I mean, according to like a lot of reports, a lot of people are saying like the Bears are like a high end job just because of Caleb Williams. But at the same time, it just seems like the organization just doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. They have no culture, and like there's just a whole fucking shit shows going on in Chicago. Meanwhile, Seattle won. Even although Seattle won, they've been eliminated from the playoffs because the Rams won, and apparently, the Rams need like 3 of 5 teams to win, and all those teams that need to win won, and that gave Rams the West. That clinched the NFC West for the Rams because I believe it was something to do with the strength of schedule, but we'll get to that in a bit. So Seattle's still gonna fight for their, I guess, just I don't know, just exit interviews or whatever. So this game, Chargers absolutely dog walked the Patriots 40-7. Jim Harbaugh officially leads the Chargers into the playoffs in his first year. Quick turnaround like that. Absolutely insane that, especially their defense, who had mostly all the same players, Jim Harbaugh walks in there, they're like a fucking top 5 defense when they were at the bottom of the league last year with Staley or whatever Brandon Staley. Fucking insane. And Justin Herbert, he's not putting up like the crazy numbers like he did earlier in his career because he doesn't have to, but Ladd McConkey, he's something else. Like I knew he was gonna be a really good pick coming out of the draft, and I was hoping the Eagles would take him in like with this late second pick, but I'm glad we didn't. I mean, I'm glad we didn't because I love Cooper DeJean, I love Quinyon Mitchell, I love both of our draft picks, rookie corners. But Ladd McConkey is a dog, and he fucking proved it with the Chargers. Fucking, and they needed some firepower, and Ladd McConkey is that guy for them. And Patriots getting their asses kicked. It's been a rough fucking year for them. First year without Bill Belichick, Gerard Mayo being the head coach. A lot of people are saying his job is on the line, which I find to be crazy because you just hired Gerard Mayo. Was he a good coaching candidate? I mean, he was what was he, a linebackers coach for the Patriots for under Belichick for however many years? I just don't know if he's like I didn't know at the time. I didn't know he was going to be a good head coach, and I figured it was going to be a rough. I figured it's going to be a rough year, especially with a rookie quarterback. But at the same time, like they're in a position to pick number 1 overall, especially if they lose again. And I don't know if they will. That number 1 pick we'll talk about in a little bit, but yeah, I don't know if Jerome Mayo's job's safe. A lot of people saying it is. Some people it isn't. Like there's a lot of mixed reports coming out saying that his job is safe and his job isn't safe. But anyway, here's one of the better games of the weekend. Bengals win in overtime, 30-24. The Bengals, if they win out, like they have to win tomorrow. They have to win this weekend's game in order to have a chance. But they also need the Dolphins and the Broncos to lose, and it's not looking like that's going to be the case because the Broncos play the Chiefs, who are resting everybody, and the Dolphins are playing the Jets, who are just another tire fire organization. So, like, although the Bengals are hot at the right time, they've been very inconsistent. If they had a mid defense, if their defense was like middle of the league, they'd have at least 2 more wins, and they would probably already locked up the 7th seed. But it's all about starting early in September. I don't know, something happens with Zach Taylor and that fucking Bengals team. For whatever reason in September, they don't start off fast. They always start off slow. They always try to find, they always fucking somehow pick up momentum in like October. And especially this year's like very, very up and down. It's crazy because Joe Burrow statistically he's having the best statistic year of any quarterback. And it's unfortunate because he's not going to be in the running for the MVP, and he shouldn't be if your teams are only 8-8, but statistic-wise, he's kicking everyone's ass. But you can't do shit with a bad defense. And although some of the losses are on his fault because he turned the ball over at crucial times, but hey, it is what it is. And then last but not least, pretty crappy game. Cardinals had nothing to play for. Rams still had the division to win. They won 13-9. Nothing really much to go over there. The Colts, who had a chance to keep their playoff hopes alive if they beat the Giants, but they didn't. The Giants The Giants somehow, for whatever reason, they decided to wake up today. Like, yeah, you know what? Let's ruin the Colts' hopes of making the fucking playoffs. And they won 45-33. Malik Neighbors looked like an elite wide receiver. I mean, he is. He's an up-and-coming wide receiver. That's the only player on that team that really scares you, other than a couple defensive players on their team. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with the Colts. Pat McAfee went off on the Colts staff mostly. They didn't do it he said mostly like them having no accountability, all this other stuff. Like it's crazy. So who knows? I don't think Shane Steichen's on a hot seat at all, but the GM might be gone. He's a nice. We'll see. I don't know. Like people saying, "Oh, he's such a nice guy," though. I mean, being a nice guy doesn't make you last long in the NFL. But who knows? Bills absolutely dog walk the Jets 40-14. They're 13-3. They clinched the number 2 seed. There's nothing for them to play for next week. Jets again being a tire fire. Their question is who's going to be the GM, head coach, and if Aaron Rodgers going to stay in New York? Who knows? He said he'd take a pay cut, but we'll see what happens there. Jags beat the Titans 20-13. Excuse me. Like I said, nothing really much to talk about there. Raiders beat the Saints 25-10. Brock Bowers is officially the new record holder as a rookie tight end for most receptions, receiving yards. So congrats to him. I knew Brock Bowers was going to be amazing coming to the league. Although I thought the Raiders should have drafted a quarterback, but because they had Aiden O'Connell, who was okay, and Gardner Minshew is not a start. He's not a full-time starter. He's just a guy who could fill in for a couple of games. So it is what it is with them. Antonio Pierce might be on the hot seat, so who really knows what's going on there? Buccaneers absolutely dog walked the Carolina Panthers 48-14. Just everything is clicking for them. Offense, defense, special teams. They are coming into they're coming into the playoffs hot, and they are going to be a dangerous team if they win the NFC South. And they have a really great chance because they play the Saints next week. And the Saints are not a good team. The Saints can play spoilers, though, if the Saints beat the Bucs and the Falcons beat the Panthers next week. So that'll be interesting to see. My Philadelphia Eagles absolutely dog walked the Dallas Cowboys 41-7. This is probably my new favorite Eagles Cowboys game of all time. I mean, it really depends on what happens when that happens in the playoffs, because the other great Eagles Cowboys game was 2008 44-6, last game of the year. Eagles had to win to make the playoffs, and we crushed them. Made all the NFC title game, lost to the Cardinals. But this game's insane for many other reasons. Saquon Barkley, the 9th NFL running back in NFL history to reach 2,000 rushing yards in 1 year. Kenny Pickett, he played solid for like the first 2.5 quarters. He wasn't asked to do a lot, but he did what he needed to do. Unfortunately, Micah gave him a nice little shot in the midsection, and his ribs. He has said he's broken ribs now, and Tanner McKee looks like a really good NFL quarterback. Like, Tanner McKee is a dog. Like, I knew he was a good thrower of the football. I know he's 6'6". If he came in the NFL 20 years ago, he probably would have been a top 10 pick, or at least a first round quarterback, because, like, unfortunately, because mostly in the NFL now, we look for mobile quarterbacks, like, who can somewhat move. And I don't think Tanner is a very mobile guy, but he can stand in that pocket. He can throw the goddamn football really well. Like, he threw 2 beautiful passes to A.J. Brown, 1 for the touchdown, and then Devontae Smith was a great read play. He ran in when he ran in for the touchdown. So Tanner McKee did his thing. So he's probably going to start. I said the Eagles. So the report just came out that the Eagles are going to be resting their starters, and unfortunately, Saquon Barkley will not be going after Eric Dickerson's record, which is a goddamn shame. I mean, listen, it's like the bigger picture. It's the correct move, but at the same time, when you have a chance to chase NFL history, I think you should go after it, no matter what happens. Like, even if we don't. Like, if we don't make it to the Super Bowl or like lose in the first round, which I don't think we will, you still have that record. You still are part of NFL history. Yeah, the team won't be that great. Like, the team won't be remembered, but Saquon Barkley owning the new rushing title, like being the lead rusher of all time, is something you can't take away, because it's been 40 years since that record, and now it's probably going to be like another 40 years. I mean, who knows? It could happen. Like, Saquon could do this again next year. We don't know. But at the same time, like, that's the thing that pisses me off. In my head logic is saying, yes, this is the correct move to do. Rest all the starters, get everyone ready for the playoff game. But my heart is saying, go for the fucking record, dog. Go break Eric Dickerson's record. And it's sad, but you know what? It is what it is. And let's talk about how shitty the Cowboys are. And who knows what's going on with Mike McCarthy? I don't know. I think Jerry Jones doesn't know himself. Micah Parsons is fucking hilarious when he said, "Oh, we could take about 4 or 5 plays. The score would have been different, and to take away the scoreboard, we would have played a great game against the Eagles." Like, dog, there's a scoreboard for a fucking reason. Like, you can't say wild shit like that when you're getting your ass kicked 41-7. If you lost to if it was like 41-38, if you lost by like 3 points, yeah, you could say, oh yeah, a couple of plays made a difference in the game. But you can't say that when you get your fucking ass kicked 41-7. So the Cowboys are the dumpster fire. Who knows what's going on over there? Like, who knows if McCarthy's coming back? Who knows who they're going to bring in? Because Jerry Jones really runs the team. The head coach isn't really a head coach. So who fucking knows? Dolphins beat the Browns 20-3. They have their slim playoff hopes alive, because if they win, the Broncos lose, they're in next week. Vikings beat the Packers 27-25. Vikings dominated most of this game. Green Bay came back at the end. It just proves that like this makes this offseason from Minnesota very interesting because who knows what they're gonna do with Sam Darnold? I don't know if they're gonna keep him, tag him, trade him. I don't know. Like because they have JJ McCarthy in the weights, but we'll see. And Green Bay is they're victim of themselves. They're shooting themselves in the foot. They're starting off too damn slow, and I think that's why they're not going to make it far in the playoffs. Whoever they face, whether it's the Rams or the Eagles, as of right now, because that's who the two that is who the 2 and 3 seed are. Currently, Green Bay's in the 7th seed, so we'll see what happens after Week 18. The Commanders clinched their spot in the playoffs after beating Atlanta in overtime, 30-24, and a good game by Michael Penix Jr. His first, not his first, second start, excuse me, but it was a big start on the road. Made a couple of mistakes early, but he looked like he can throw a goddamn football. Like I knew coming into this year that Michael Penix Jr. is probably my favorite quarterback coming into the draft. No one thought Atlanta would draft him in the beginning of the year, but they were there at 8, and he was there. They might as well have taken him because their dumbasses paid Kirk Cousins $100 million guaranteed, and now there's talks of cutting Kirk Cousins after this year, which is hilarious because who knows where the hell he's going to go now. And meanwhile, the Commanders just keep on rolling. Like Jane Daniels is obviously going to be the offensive rookie of the year. He looks amazing, and he's going to be a problem for the next like 5-10 years. He's going to be. I don't know if he's going to make it to. I don't know if he's going to lead the Commanders to a Super Bowl, but as of right now, like they just need all they need is better weapons and a better offensive line. Like they just need to like they got good players all around. They just need to upgrade everything. That's where the Commanders are. Like well, not like a good. I would say it's not a good roster. It's a very interesting roster to say the least. Excuse me. But if you just get better pieces all around for certain positions, they can easily win the division next year. And the Monday night game, Detroit beats San Francisco 40-34. A lot of people said Detroit didn't need to play their starters because no matter what, the Vikings and the Lions were going to play for the number 1 seed for the division next week anyway. But I think it was good for them to play all their starters this week because of momentum. Like you need to have your starters looking as good as you can for a better opponent, especially for a division rival. It was a close game the last time. They won by field goal, I believe, with like I don't remember if it was overtime or like the very last second. Yeah, I think it was like at the very end of the game, very last second. Vikings couldn't drive down the field, and that's why Detroit won the first game. So, yeah, Detroit's looking good. They're going to be a problem. So are the Vikings. One of those two teams is going to be a problem. So now let's make our predictions for Week 18. So the clinching scenario for the AFC North for both Saturday games is if the Ravens win, they clinch the AFC North. If the Ravens lose and the Steelers win, they clinch the Steelers clinch the AFC North, and they get the number 3 seed. So whoever wins the AFC North gets the number 3 seed. And if the Bengals win, and who would I say need to lose? The Dolphins and the Broncos. If the Dolphins and Broncos lose, the Bengals beat the Steelers, the Bengals are in. So, but for this game, I know the Browns don't really have anything to play for. They can play spoilers, but I think the Ravens they're just too damn good right now. Ravens are going to beat the Browns. It's probably going to be a closer game than anyone expects because it's a division game. Anything can happen, but I think the Ravens are going to win. They're going to beat Cleveland at home, and they're going to win the AFC North. This game, I don't know. Steelers are at home. They've been struggling as of late. Like, I know they've been struggling as of late, but at the same time, like, and the Bengals are coming in hot, but I just feel like Pittsburgh. I still feel like Pittsburgh's just going to win this game, and they're going to eliminate the Bengals from the playoffs. I just feel, I don't know. That's what my gut's telling me. I just feel like this will be a bounce back game for the Steelers. They're going to win this game. This will be a close ass game, and they're going to bounce back Cincinnati from the playoffs, or any hopes of any chance of getting into the playoffs. Let's see. Now this game has meaning. The Falcons and the Panthers are at home. I'm picking Atlanta to win because Atlanta needs to win and Tampa Bay needs to lose to the Saints somehow, but the Saints are going to beat the Bucks. So Atlanta needs to win in order to get into the playoffs, and the Bucks need to lose in order to win in the NFC South. That's the only real division. That's the only question who left in the NFC playoff pictures. Who wins the NFC South? This game doesn't really matter. Picking Commanders on the road to beat the Cowboys. Meaningless game. Packers and Bears. I don't think it matters if the Packers play their starters or not. I don't know what they're doing, but I'm going to pick Green Bay at home anyway. Jags at Colts. Another game has no playoff indications. I'm going to pick the Colts at home. Bills at Patriots. Even with backups playing, I think the Bills are still going to beat the Patriots. Giants at Eagles. I just said the Eagles are going to rest their starters, so I'm going with the Giants on the road just because the Eagles. Actually, I don't even know. The Giants probably be playing the starters, but at the same time, I feel like even I know the Giants are a bad team. They just won themselves out of the first overall pick, but they're still playing for pride. Players don't care about the draft order like the fans do and like the GMs do and all that shit. But yeah, I think the Giants are gonna beat the Eagles on the road just because we're resting everybody, so they can have their little victory party after they win, beating our third and fourth string players. I think the Bucks beat the Saints at home. They win the NFC South, and the Bucks are immediately probably arguably the most dangerous team to get in the playoffs, or one of the most dangerous teams to get in the playoffs. Texans at Titans. I think the Texans win this bounce back game. The Texans need a bounce back game desperately to look somewhat okay in the playoffs. Because CJ Stroud's been up and down. The defense has been okay. Especially the defense has not been that good after losing Al Shazier for that suspension. I think he comes back this game. I'm pretty sure he does. Niners at Cardinals, another meaningless game. I'm gonna pick Arizona just because I think they're slightly better and Purdy's not playing. So, gonna pick Arizona at home. Chiefs at Broncos. Broncos win at home because the Chiefs are resting their starters and they get the last playoff spot. That's the only spot left that the AFC playoff picture needs is the last wild card spot. Seahawks at Rams. Another meaning kind of not really meaning. I guess it is. Well, has more meaning for the Rams, I believe, because I believe the Rams win, they clinch the third seed. I think if they lose and the Bucks win, I think the Bucks get the third seed. So I don't really know what happens there. So I'm going with the Rams at home just because. Chargers at Raiders. I'm going to pick the Chargers on the road. I don't know if they're resting starters. I don't think they will. Dolphins at Jets. I'm going to pick the Dolphins on the road to beat the Jets, but that's going to be insignificant because I picked the Broncos to win. And then the best game of the year, most hyped game of the year, coming to down to this. Whoever wins this last game wins the NFC North and gets the number 1 seed. Meanwhile, the loser gets the number 5 seed, has to go on the road to face whoever is the number 4 seed, which is most likely going to be Tampa Bay, in my opinion. That Monday night game, Tampa Bay, and I think it's gonna be Minnesota goes to Tampa Bay because I think the Lions are gonna win this game, and I think so let's go to the playoff. Let's go playoff picture. So here's what I think is gonna happen. So I think the Lions and the Chiefs. I think the Lions are gonna win. And I'll give the Lions the number 1 seed. We already clinched the number 2 seed. Bills clinched the number 2 seed. The Ravens are going to clinch the 3rd seed because I think they're going to win. They're going to beat the Browns. Rams going to clinch the 3rd seed because they're going to beat the Seahawks. And the only division left is to predict is the NFC South. So it doesn't matter because I think Tampa Bay is going to beat the Saints, and they're going to get the 4th seed. And then they're going to play Tampa Bay, Minnesota. That's going to be a really good football game. Commanders at Rams, and then Packers at Eagles. And then the last seat over here, Texas won the AFC South. Steelers and Chargers both clinched playoff spots. So it all depends on who. I guess the Chargers do have something to play for. Chargers can either play in Houston or play at Baltimore. So I guess the Chargers do have something to play for, both Chargers and Steelers, because if the Steelers lose, they're in the playoffs no matter what. They're probably just going to take the 6th seed. Because I don't know if they do have the win over Denver. So I believe the Chargers would be the 5th seed if they won. Steelers would be 6, Denver would be 7. So it's really just sitting between these two teams. And then for the playoff hunt, the last playoff spot in the AFC, I think Denver's going to win, so it doesn't matter. So the Denver Broncos will be the 7th seed no matter what. And then if somehow Denver loses, it's going to be these two teams. Bengals, and if the Dolphins lose, the Bengals get in, but if the Dolphins win, they're in. So I think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be the Broncos at the 7th seed. I think the Bucs are going to win to be the 4th seed. And then I think Steelers win no matter what. I think Steelers beat the Bengals and eliminate them. So I think they're going to be staying at the 5th seed. Chargers will be staying at the 6th seed, going to Baltimore. And then Denver will be going to Buffalo. So that's what I'm thinking the playoffs picture is going to look like, and that's my predictions for Week 18 as well. Happy New Year, happy 2025. Go Birds. That's it for this episode. Go Birds.